Lights out, we're underway. It's Motorsport Republica podcast.
T. Shaz, what's going on, brother?
Yes, Formula One.
This is a Formula One episode for Monza. So if people don't know, we split our episodes up when there's a double header. So MotoGP episode, Formula One episode.
Yeah, so just keeps it nice and clean and easy. I was sick of getting messages about timestamps, so let's do this so much easier.
Yeah, I think it's better format. We'll see how it is. We just roll with the wind.
We do.
We roll with the wind at Motorsport Republica.
We want to thank our partners at Moto Heaven. Thank you all for the support. Bike Heaven as well for all your motorcycle and cycle needs.
Yeah,
and
check out motorheaven.com.au, bikeheaven.com.au. Support Aussie business. They got everything in there. They're the best at it.
Yep. And guys, we love this support on YouTube and also Patreon. We're doing extra chats, of course we are. So jump on and subscribe to that. We really appreciate the support in that. So
really do.
James, a dominant performance from Max Verstappen. I didn't think I was going to see it happen for the rest of the year, and it happened fairly quickly. So it came out of nowhere.
Did you? Did anyone expect this to happen at Monza? Because I know they really messed up their car and strategy and aero last year, but to see the domination from Max and thank God, and I want to talk about this, but thank God Red Bull has him. But geez, he just start to finish just about.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Brundle said on the grid, he goes, "I got Max for the win." I said, "Max for the win?" I mean, I had, McLaren's race paces. They've been their strongest thing for the whole year. I think their low downforce setup was incredible. They've obviously done huge work on that because last year was atrocious. McLaren just didn't seem to have the same pace as they have. I'm sure it's going to come back in the next couple of rounds, but it was good to see it mix up, and I'm sort of glad there was that little bit of controversy at the end with the McLarens. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty boring podcast.
Yeah,
so,
I know. It was a bit of a fit. We just had a MotoGP podcast, but both races and Monza was a fizzer as well. And it's just annoying because Formula One, they talk about having straights and DRS, but then they're just the cars are already so aeroed up that you might only get it 4Ks more faster down the straight, where it doesn't actually do that. Then you have a DRS train, and so the good thing about Monza is it's such a spectacle. And
they shouldn't. They picked the completely wrong tyres for that round. They should have gone a step softer.
Yes,
you've got a guy. 3 or 4 guys in the field that could have gone the whole race distance on that median tyre, which just shouldn't happen. So that median tyre should have been, the hard tyre, and then you should have had a step softer. You got a C6 tyre, use it. I mean, I just didn't understand.
Or they could have. I think was it Lewis talking about they should have brought that in, and then you could have had a 2-stop strategy, a 2-stop race, which is what everyone wants.
So
or you bring the asphalt in from Abu Dhabi, as Danby suggested multiple times.
Bahrain, yeah. I'll go into results. Max Verstappen, dominant victory.
Yeah.
Well done to him. And as you touched on, Red Bull would just be nowhere without him. Lando Norris second, Oscar Piastri third. 3 points he's taken off him for the World Championship. Charles Leclerc fourth. George Russell 5th, Lewis Hamilton 6th, Alex Albon 7th. I had him in my top 5. He nearly got there. Bortoleto 8th, Antonelli 9th, and Isaac Hadjar 10th place.
Yeah, he's going back to it. Obviously, yes, very dominant by Max. Clearly, and we speak about this, and we're not groundbreaking. It's not a groundbreaking thing to say this that Max Verstappen is the best driver on that grid. I think everyone could almost agree with that. We know cars dominate the sport to a degree. But Red Bull, if they didn't have Max Verstappen, would be in a world of hurt.
I think Max is the best driver we've ever seen. He's there's more and more people coming out and saying how incredible he has been this year on that car. I mean, he's just making something out of nothing, especially in qualifying. I mean, him putting it on pole again, coming out of nowhere, and then hanging on, getting passed by Lando and then repassing him as well. I mean, normally when Lando passes, I'm like, that's done, he's gone. And then they just had the perfect setup for him down the straight, just enough speed, and then he just did the rest. So it was a blockbuster start. Kudos to Oscar Piastri to keeping his front wing. He's passed around the outside of Charles Leclerc, for the first of the Lesmo corners. Wow. I mean, that was just crazy from a guy who's winning the championship. You just don't see that. So it was a blockbuster start. We're in for a really, really good race, and then it just all settled down, unfortunately. And
which happens.
It does. You go into the tyre saving phase to a certain extent. But Oscar. I mean, it was an interesting interesting at the end of that race. So obviously, we all know we all watched it, but he pitted first, got the undercut on Lando, which wasn't supposed to be because Lando had that slow stop, and then he had to let him back through. Which it's controversial. A lot of people today were saying how silly that was and how Max wouldn't have never done that, but it's just it's a whole different culture than McLaren, isn't it? So
what's your take on it? If you really had to try, it's very hard, obviously, but to take your Australian cap off and a non-biased look at it.
Yeah.
Either way, you can obviously answer either way, but what do you think? What's the right thing to do?
Well, for me, it's my initial thought is, you have to give the place back, but that's not motor racing. So this goes on to my further point. Like, I feel like this championship fight is just missing something. There's two guys that are 30 points apart. I mean, and the reason why it's missing something is because of these scenarios. This too nice. They're, fighting the teams, manipulating things like this, and it's nothing like 2021. 2021 was ruthless. These guys are similar times in their career. You had Hamilton and Verstappen back in 21, the fierce battle they had and how gripping it was, watching that. And now they're similar points apart from that, but nothing like that season. Absolutely nothing like that season.
Yeah, it's like everyone's kind of wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And it's probably because, obviously, it's because they're both in the same team, and it can be a detriment if obviously they come together or whatever. Like, we know that. Where, if you've got Mercedes and Red Bull, there's so much at stake, and if you really don't like each other as well, that's going to add to it.
Definitely adds to it.
It definitely adds to it, and you've kind of got this battle that's not really a battle, that's just kind of controlled, and as you said, manipulated. It's a really good word. Is manipulated by the team, and you look at that and you just think, like, imagine if that was Verstappen. All right. Imagine if that was Verstappen and Red Bull cost him 4 seconds and then the lead to Lewis Hamilton. Imagine how much he would be blowing up. And then the headlines from that. And then just the collateral damage from that. But you don't hear anything of that because then the place is given back, which isn't motor racing, but it is kind of Formula One.
Yeah, it's a great point you make. Yeah, my first initial reaction was, he's got to give that back. But, like, it shouldn't be. That's not
It
Formula
shouldn't
One.
be, no.
It's not Formula One. So I was super surprised that Lando offered that on the team radio. He said, do you want to pit Oscar first? Because he obviously got Charles behind and he was coming up closer on the fresher tyre. But he did it. He let it happen. And then that was a consequence. And I think Oscar had that little bit of a team radio, but I think he was, he just knew that with the fact he was going to do it. So.
Well, I think, was it Martin Brundle sat down, if he was talking about it on the coverage, how he sat down with Oscar Piastri and he was talking about the World Championship and being champion. He said, but the team comes first. The team comes first. And it is their culture, and it's just a different culture to Red Bull, and it's a different culture to realistically a lot of other teams throughout history. It's clearly working, but it doesn't make the spectacle great for us viewers. As much as it's awesome to see an Aussie driver, we've got two drivers that are very close in the championship, going for a championship. We want to see a bit of argy-bargy, a bit of hatred, a bit of something, just something spill over. And as you said, it's manipulated by the team, and I just feel like as just pure racing fans, we're getting manipulated by that.
Yeah, it's we'll see what happens over the next few races, but it was disappointing. They were free to race, but it was so hard to pass, wasn't it? At the end there, with both of them had the soft tire, one lap advantage to Oscar. So
yeah, this is the problem. Like, we spoke about this last week or the week before. These traditional tracks aren't Formula One tracks anymore. Yeah. They're just not. It's the tracks that are built, for modern day Formula One is what's producing better racing. And it's as hard as it is to admit, it's the truth.
Well, they're designing the tracks around the cars, not vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's probably wrong. It's the wrong direction to go, in our opinion, anyway. Going back to Oscar, that first few laps, his racecraft is just unbelievable, and you have to give it to Charles. Charles rarely runs into anyone. It's always great racing. I mean, I think the way they were fighting and battling, it was just so good to see. Just fair, solid racing.
Really but a millimeter perfect.
You just don't see that. In the grid, like you go back to the grid, there'll be people are colliding. You look at Sainz and Bim, and
Yeah.
we'll get onto that shortly. But just perfect pinpoint. Knew exactly where the car to go. Charles knew exactly how to defend at the same point. And just unbelievable racing. I love the first few laps of that race. Loved it.
I think it just shows how much talent those guys have when you can do that and have so much. For both of them, you got Charles in Monza and a Ferrari, so there's so much at stake. And then you've got Oscar Piastri and a McLaren fighting for a world title. Two massive things that are in stake, and then for them to still not collide and provide great entertainment is very awesome to watch.
I still don't know how Charles didn't get a speeding in the pit lane penalty. He went flying into the pit and locked both wheels. Not even I think it was had to be a Monza effect. There was not even an investigation into it. He would have 100% be going over the 80-kilometre mark.
The copper was looking the other way.
Yeah, it was. They put away the speed gun for the Italians, I reckon.
Yeah, they saw a red car coming there. It's going through. Let him through.
Hamilton looked better. Hamilton looked fast coming through the field, and I had a bit of a theory on that. He more of a low downforce track, maybe braking and traction for him is, something that is has affected him as he's got older. I mean, braking, he's always been great, late on the brakes, always great out of the corners in traction. I think obviously showed with Monza and him coming through the field. It's these new circuits with these really, 200-mile-an-hour corners and things that he's really struggling at, in my opinion. So he looked better.
It's a Ferrari track.
Ferrari would have worked they would have been working all year on that low downforce, and still unfortunately didn't help. And they were fast down the straights, but just didn't have the raw pace, unfortunately. But disappointing anti-climax sort of race, wasn't it, in the end? So
it was. Like, there wasn't much going on. Obviously, you had as you said, the McLaren battle, but that's just all fluff. That's all fluff. That's nothing. That doesn't excite me. It doesn't get me going. Like, you want to see an undercut or a strategy war or how Charles won last year on the one stop. That's what you want to see. You don't want to just see manipulation of that.
I don't know why. That's the word of the podcast.
It is the word of the pod.
I started. James has taken it, and
I'm now hyper fixated on it.
I just don't know why McLaren do it to themselves with that pit stop scenario at the end. I mean, they just do it time and time again to get themselves in these situations. They could have pitted so much earlier. I knew they were waiting for a safety car, but realistically, Verstappen had the safety car. He had it covered anyway. He already was up, I think, 12 to 11 seconds behind them anyway. So he had him covered. I just don't know why they waited so long and then just added more fuel to that fire with them. It doesn't make sense to me. Good for us. Hopefully that inter-team battle, as you said, becomes larger going into the end of the year. I mean, if they go in even points going into the last few races, there's no way someone's getting out of the way. There's no way. Has to be. You can't do that. You might have this one chance. There's new rules next year. One chance to win a world championship. This is your chance. You don't know if the McLaren's going to be any good next year. Whole new rules. You don't know. One chance. I mean, you got to look at Fernando Alonso's been racing for 22 years and he's won 2 world titles. I mean, you just don't know when it's going to slip away.
Yeah.
So,
and like for Formula One, it might not be you. Like it's the drive. It's the car you're in. It could be taken away from you, and that's obviously the new rules. Like that's what it is. Like look at Max Verstappen. He is, I personally think, by far the best driver on that grid, and he's not winning this world championship.
Exactly.
Fair or not fair, that's just how Formula One is, and that's been like that for a long time.
If you got 3 or 4 races left of the year and you've got a chance to win that world title, you'd be doing anything to win it. Anything.
But it'll be, who knows? Maybe it'll all come to fruition at the end of the season when there is a couple of rounds to go and maybe it's tight. Like there's got to be a point where the nice guy act drops.
I still think I think Piastri's got the edge. I really do. Both in racecraft and also in qualifying trim. So I still think he's the red. I mean, he's 31 points ahead. Red hot favourite for this championship, and
just not flustered as much on the radio.
There's a lot of Piastri tracks coming up as well.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of Piastri tracks coming up. So he loves street circuits. Really good on these overseas tracks. So yeah, excited for that.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Like it's. I'm just waiting for something.
Yeah, we'll see. Stewards, so inconsistent. Behrman and Sainz just doesn't make sense to me.
T-Shabs, mate, we all know that you're Mr. Aprilia. You love riding. I want to know, where do you get your motorcycle gear from?
Mate, there is only one place I get all my gear from, apart from the guy down the street, and that's Motor Heaven in Moorabbin. Okay, they are a family-owned business, which we love. They always have the best prices, and if I want to get something shipped to my house, it's free delivery over $150. So for me, it's really a no-brainer.
Right, so you get all the best gear, and then is it better than going to the dumb big corporate chains?
They don't care about you.
No.
You know, you can't call the owner of them to ask questions.
No.
Adrian's always on my phone list, and I can always call him to.
He's
to
always
help me out.
calling you.
He is definitely.
Yeah, no, I love it. So head to motorheaven.com.au where you never pay full price. They got all the big brands, super fast dispatch, ship anywhere around Australia. You can get whatever you want.
It's a no-brainer.
No brainer.
So you've got the guy on the outside turning in on the guy on the inside. The guy on the inside gets a penalty 10 seconds.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm having a long-winded argument last week with Danby about how Sainz got a penalty on the outside, you know, not deserved. And then he deserves this one and doesn't get it. Like, so confusing, so inconsistent. I didn't understand. They're both just anything. They're racing incidents. Just put the whistle away. I don't understand what is going on with these people. They're just giving penalties out left, right, and center. Just put the whistle away. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, if anything, Sainz, you got to leave room.
Yeah.
You got to leave racing room at least. You can't just turn in on people and then he gets away with it. I mean, it's not this. It may not be the steward's fault. It could be the rules written incorrectly, and I think that's more of the problem. But yeah, I just don't know where they go from here. It's so confusing. Nobody knows wheel-to-wheel racing what they can and can't do.
How much smaller are the cars getting with the new regs?
Considerably. Not like how they used to be in 07 and 08, but considerably. It's that will change the racing again. I think so. That's something to really look forward to in the next couple of years. Is that the smaller cars will make a huge difference.
I think it will, man. They're just way too big. It's even watching like Charles and Piastri go at it. Like you're taking up the whole track and then some. You really are.
And a lot of those corners, like the first chicane, there's one line in.
Yeah.
There's not the two line in. You saw there's two cars that go in, and then one has to go skip over the medium strip or whatever it's called, and then there's an incident. I mean, there's just not enough room for two cars through there. So, yeah, it's I think we're really at this time now of these rules. It's expired. And we're really ready for some change. So we've had some fun. I mean, 2021 was fantastic, and Max dominating was cool to see. But we're at that stage where we need something different, as crazy as it sounds. But I'm looking forward to these new rules.
So am I. Like, we're definitely at that point where we're just getting a lot of fizzes, and we know it's obviously between two drivers, which is fine. But even then, like, it's not even a hatred of
the thing is,
World
Verstappen won.
Championship.
Verstappen won on the weekend, and that should be exciting, but it still was. Just didn't have the same zing in it as we keep saying. But I think that's, as I touched on, like, it's just too much nice. There's no hatred between drivers, and it's that's what's missing, because the hatred between Verstappen, Hamilton, Toto Wolff, and I mean, even go back to 2016, Rosberg and Hamilton, they were on the same team, but that season was amazing, because it was the hatred of each other, it was so controversial. So it was so good to see. Why do you think Norris was booed on the podium?
I don't know, like...
It's a big thing to be booed by the Tifosi. Like, for me, there was no incident with any Ferrari.
He's never really had any incidents. Look... I think Lando Norris is trying to be there. He gets pushed a lot, but like, we only see the English commentary, so like, the Italians aren't going to see that. They're going to see their Italian BBC or Italian Sky Sports or whatever it is
Sky
that they
Italia.
do. Sky Italia, that's what it is. But like, it just seems from my side that he is getting pushed as the face of Formula One. And maybe that's just not what anyone wants, or that's definitely not what they want.
Interesting. It's an interesting take. Yeah, I can't explain it. Like, the guy is sometimes not the most likable character, how he comes across. I think he's definitely popular in that young girl F1 fan scene. But for us, it's just, he's an unusual sort of dude. But so is Oscar.
I assume the Italians like a more traditional racer, like an Alonso, a Max, even to a degree, a bit more old school. I don't know, maybe like...
Do Do you think they wanted to see Piastri second because the Italian last name? Because you know what the Italians are like.
Yeah,
like
really could.
you know, there's people that are born here and they speak. You know, they think they're from Italy. They're not.
Yeah,
Davo.
Yeah. Do you know how to speak Italian?
Yeah, a little ciao and tu grazie. And, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Nah, Damo's a bit more Italian than that. But yeah, there's a lot of Italians here in Australia that think they're still Italian. You know, so
Yeah, and they that's fine.
it says
but-
a lot about the culture. I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just think from the outside looking in, I think the Italian fans don't like a pretty boy. Where I think Lando Norris is a bit of a pretty boy, that type where they like a bit more of just a hard edge type of racer, motorsport star. You know, that's I don't know. That's my take anyway. That's the only way I could probably explain it. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't know. That's why I wanted your opinion. It was interesting to me that he's been singled out. I think you're right. He's probably not that solid, manly sort of character we want to be the face of Formula One. But it's times they are changing.
The times are changing. It's like wrestling. Going back to wrestling, but like they try and push these certain people in everyone's faces, and they either accept it or they don't. And then obviously the Italians
It's like
don't.
a social experiment sometimes, isn't it?
But then they put Lando Norris in the Ferrari, and if he wins in the Ferrari, mate, he will be a superstar.
Dude, it's like how they were hated Hamilton, like hatred, and now they changed so quickly.
Yeah. So
They changed
that's
so
the power of that badge, man. It's
100%.
the power of the badge.
Bortoleto, another really solid weekend.
Yep.
He was I think he was up to 6th place at one
Yeah, he
point.
was. Will he finish 8th?
8th, yep. Alex Albon was out sort of 12th, 13th, halfway through the race. Always just crawls himself back and hit a fantastic race. Bit disappointing from Sainz and obviously spinning out with Ollie Behrman. But, just missing out on the points.
Bortoleto, bro, going back to him, he's just coming on strong.
Coming on strong.
On a 8th, as we say it, Charles Leclerc effect on a 7th.
Yeah.
Just doing as much as you can in that car possible.
Yeah, Brazilian guy coming through is great for the sport as well. I'm excited for the future. That he has a chance. He has a chance to head up the Ferrari soon. You know, like he could be the next hot shot in that Ferrari team. So,
Bro, Bortoleto, Sao Paulo.
Yeah,
Brazilians jump on their. They love jumping on a Brazilian.
Oh yeah,
they are huge at following back in their drivers or riders, aren't they?
Yeah, they love it.
I love
Sonoda out the back 13th, Lawson 14th. They collided at one point as well.
Yeah, they did.
Ollie Behrman was unlucky with Sainz, in my opinion. Haas didn't look too good. And then obviously, Fernando Alonso. That was a strange incident. The
suspension failure.
Suspension fell on the outside, and I was just talking to my old man on Sunday about how high the ripple strips are. I said, I reckon when they're going 200-300 k's an hour, it wouldn't be that rough. And then bang, the suspension fails. So it must put some real stress through the cars. It's
a shame for Alonso because he was having a pretty good race.
He was, he was sort of stuck behind that train for a little bit, but he pitted and it looked, he looked like he was going to do something. He's actually had probably a pretty solid last couple of weekends because Stroll was out the back as well as his normal spot. So. Which is unfortunate. Now, the FIA, the group body has come out, Stefano Domenicalo, and said that in the future they're looking at doing shorter races.
Yes. I want to talk to you about this.
Reverse grids, this sort of thing. What are your thoughts on shorter races?
I actually don't mind it. I really don't. And I'm normally a traditionalist, but I think with how the racing is dragging on at the moment, and if there's a lack of passing, which there clearly is, and a lack of excitement on the actual racetrack, it doesn't have to go for an hour and a half. You could make it 50 minutes.
Jeez, interesting. I completely disagree. I love the fact that it's a longer race. I love the strategy.
But the strategy only comes into play every 12 rounds.
James, short-term memory. There's been years have gone by that it's a lot different. You got to remember the last couple of years it has been boring. No, it's weird. For me, it's like I love sitting down. I love being able... Like, for me, MotoGP is just too quick. Like, it is too quick for me. The only thing that saves MotoGP is Moto2 and Moto3.
Yeah, but...
If I watched all the practice and all the qualifying just for a 50-minute race, I'll be like, ugh, it's not enough. So...
I don't know. I definitely don't agree.
But it's interesting for the younger, more Drive to Survive audience coming through. It is showing that the people have less sort of attention span. So...
There's nothing wrong with a long race, prime example is a Le Mans 24 hour.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a long race.
Yeah.
But it has to be like Formula One in the past, 4 years. Let's just call it, say, 4 years or longer. Like it's not built for an hour and a half races. Unless the new regs change that. At the moment, it's not like... How long was Monza last night?
It was the quickest race in
Yeah, it was
history.
an hour or something. Yeah,
Hour 13.
Yeah, so, and even that was a stretch for what that is. I'm personally, in my life, I'm trying to accept change and welcome change. And I don't think that it's realistically a really bad thing. Maybe 45 minutes or 50 minutes is too quick. Maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 5 minutes or something. Maybe that's something better. But I just think for some of these races, they are dragging. And, Formula One aren't scared to make those changes either.
They're definitely not. I love like Singapore though, because I know it's going to be like a 2-hour race. It's going to be like hot and it's going to be like a battle in the heat. I love that.
That's fair, and I totally understandable,
Yeah.
bro. Totally understandable. I get it, and something like that it works. But I don't know. What I'm really failing on right now is trying to love the traditional tracks, and the traditional tracks letting me down.
Well, I think there's two things. The tires aren't performing as they should. They're too good. We want to see things drop off, fall off the cliff.
Yes.
We love shit like that. The other thing is the cars are too big and they're too hard to pass. I don't think the time of the race is the problem. I think it's those other two things they've got to work on. And I don't know if these new regulations are going to do it or not, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think reverse grids and that sort of thing is going to work from F1.
Never does.
I don't think you need to change it too much. It's more the cars and the tyres.
I wholeheartedly agree with you that the tyres is the biggest thing. Any motorsport revolves, the tyres are the sun and everything else revolves around that. It's just always been the case. If there's multiple strategies and it's a 2-stop or a 3-stop race, that's what makes it so exciting. That's what we want to see. Then yes, it can be an hour and a half or a 2-hour race because you might see someone an hour and 45 minutes in, passing 3 people to win. Like that's how we want to see it. But it's not looking that way. And obviously the size of the cars is, you're right. And we're pretty hard. Maybe we just have a different take on Formula One to a lot of other people because we kind of ignore the fact of all the social media bullshit on that side of it. And we only realistically try and look at Formula One for the pure racing side. And that's what it needs. And there's nothing wrong with having an hour and a half race if they fix those issues that you just said, which I completely agree. But if those issues aren't going to be fixed, bring it back to a 50-minute race.
Yeah.
But, how do you... And you can't blame the teams for trying to go around these problems either. Like that's what the best engineers do. They try and find loopholes and things, and
that's always been the thing with Formula One.
It's always been a thing. So you can't blame them for that. But they got to change something. But it's I don't know, why do they change it when they're already making fucking billions at the same time? I don't know. It's a confusing situation in my eyes. But tires and the car size. Hyperfixation, James Shaw. That's exactly what it needs to happen.
All right, let's jump on to hot takes, Jimmy boy. Unless you had anything else for F1.
Nah, that's it.
All right, Jared.Madsen.
Your boy, Jazza.
McLaren have got themselves in an endless hole with these papaya rules.
It is a little bit of an endless hole, these papaya rules.
I touched on it earlier. I think they've just, they really got themselves into an unnecessary hole yesterday. I mean, it may have not meant anything in the end, but for me, it's just going to play in the back of minds of both those drivers going into the next few races. They just didn't need to do it.
They're just taking the fizz out of racing. That's all they're doing. I don't know. I want to see bring back the biff.
Yeah.
I just feel like Oscar or other drivers, they've had bad pit stops and this hasn't happened. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one.
And bad pit stops are a part of the sport, as happens.
It was just such a weird scenario because you had to look at, it was, for some fucking weird reason, Norris is telling the team to pit Piastri first. And I'm like, what's going on? It's like, oh, sir, you move through. Well, you pit first and just Get him in, get him out. I mean, stop being ridiculous. Seriously. Nicolas Padot. Piastri has been brainwashed so hard by the team over the last 2 years. The swap was so wrong.
It is wrong. Like, I just think it's race. It's like a racing incident. It's like a crash. It's a racing incident. You move on. McLaren obviously didn't mean for it to happen, but it happened. And sometimes you get the rubber to green, sometimes you don't. But the problem is if that happened, and if I'm putting my Piastri hat on, and that happened to Oscar, and they didn't swap him back, I'd be like, fuck, conspiracy. They want Lando to win. Every Aussie would be saying that. So this is I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here.
Yeah, we got to sit on the fence to a certain extent. We're always going to have favourites, and obviously country as well. You know, it's hard not to have an opinion of these things when you support someone. So yeah, it's interesting being both sides. But the thing is online, everyone is just on Piastri's favour. Like everyone. I'm watching a podcast. I was listening to a podcast today who were English guys, and they're on Piastri's side.
Well, there you
It's
go.
just amazing how Norris has lost the fans to a certain extent.
Bro, I called this 8 months ago, whenever it was, at the start of the season, when he was complaining he was going to lose the fans. Like,
I think it was last year actually.
yeah, he's probably just not the sharpest with his words, and I think he has to just kind of let things go as well. And if it doesn't work in his favor, just like be more ice cold. Like stop being just such a little boy about it all. And like, even the start of the race when 3 lanes got turned into 2 and he was on the grass, bro, it happens every single start of Monza since the history of Monza. Whoever's there hits the grass. Like, to be expected, man. It's 3-2 and you're going up against Max Verstappen. Like, just things like that. Just be a racer. Yeah. You got second anyway.
Yeah. Brisky. Brisky put a hot take in.
Yep.
Is Ollie Behrman next in line for Ferrari seat when Lewis walks away? Yeah, I think so. But I think for me, Gabriel Bortoleto has some X factor that if he still performs in this car until the end of the year, who knows? Who knows? It's all going to be, I think Lewis, it sounds like he's staying. So it's all going to be up to what's going to go out next year. Obviously, Sauber are going to be Audi, so it's a whole new outfit as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big difference for Bortoleto.
So, but it's not a bad situation for Bortoleto because I guess you get the suss out. He's got a year in the Audi if he's performing there, and then you by then you're gonna know who's nailed these new regs.
Yeah,
whether it's
exactly.
Mercedes or Red Bull or whatever.
Well, it's like,
and then he could be in the hot seat for that young gun.
Yeah, I know. It's just interesting. I mean, there's some real talent coming through. Lindblad from F2 he was a bit of a bowling ball in F2, unfortunately, on the weekend.
Bit of an Aaron Canet.
Oh, he had 2 massive incidents. He just flew into the side of people, like so uncharacteristic from him.
I love it. Isn't my new favorite driver?
Yeah, it was.
There's a launch yourself into someone.
It was funny to see. It was. But yeah, there's some real talent coming through F2.
Do you reckon it's crazy just a crash in Formula 1 or F2? Just the amount of money that crash it generates.
I know,
It's costs the team so much money.
And they're all paid. Like a lot of that is just money from the drivers as well coming through. It's a real rich sport.
Yeah.
So, that's it for F1 tonight, Jimmy.
Nice and quick, mate. I like it.
Yeah.
Like Monza.
Like Monza, the quickest F1 podcast we've had. We'll see you guys, I suppose, in the next couple of weeks in F1 and then next week for MotoGP. So.
Beautiful. Thanks for listening. Patreon now.
Yes, jump on for extra chats, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.